The Football Trash Talk for Real Fans podcast is an unscripted and free-flowing conversation that may touch on mature subjects. While the opinions are real, the research probably isn't, and we can't help that Atticus will probably talk about the Knicks.
And here we go.
He trucked dudes. It wasn't just in a preseason game. He did it pretty consistently. He left dudes saying, "What happened?"
You better put some respect on his name when we're talking about the champion, the Davion Clowney.
And I'm just going on eye test here, right? Like, I like the look of this coaching staff, you know?
All right, enough of this. Let's see what kind of shit we get into today.
Go back at it. Episode 24.
Lloyd, it's all yours.
And hey, Chris, I did not see the podcast version posted, and I've been having trouble with YouTube uploading to get the link for last week's episode. So this week's post will be, we're going to double down episode 23 and 24 when I post. I don't know about yours.
It didn't go. I'm pretty sure I got it up there. I'll double check.
I might have missed it.
I mean, I know you have me muted on the page, bro. You don't have to make it that obvious.
Muted on the page. What are you talking about?
Yeah, so you can't see my posts. I'm on to you.
Okay.
Yeah, look at him. Yeah, look at him play. Yeah. Yeah. I know what you're doing. It's okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing.
You don't have to admit you're muting me on air, but it's fine.
I would much rather watch Bibber than you on the page.
Bibber's back, huh?
Yeah. She came out of the woodwork already with excuses why she was gone.
On a Giants post, no less.
You know?
Was it a Giants post?
I think I had a good one in there. Yeah, it was the one you made about, will the Eagles have more than 2 wins this season?
Oh, it was on an Eagles post, right.
No, It was on the Giants post.
Was
it was on the Giants post.
Hmm.
Oh, no, you're right. It was the Eagles post.
Hmm.
The answer is hell no, is what she said.
Right.
I said they play the Giants at least. I say they play the Giants twice, so there's 2. They just need to squeak out 2 more. Because they'll beat them both times. You look a little lost, Atticus. Oh, okay. Froze. Anyway.
If I knew Atticus was half serious, man, I would have gone down a rabbit hole of trying to get him to make a bet on that. Some sort of bet. 3 games. Come on.
The page is just like where ESPN is with their hotcakes. We're just saying shit now. We're just keeping it going, you know? I mean, I started off hammering the Cowgirls a week or so ago. Then I moved on to the Eagles. This week it'll probably be the whatchamafucks. Who knows? I'm just going down the list to keep it active. And it's working. Hey, we brought Bibber back.
I know. And I've kept my aim strictly on the Giants, to be fair.
Yeah, you have.
Strictly on the Giants.
Well, you have to, because it's a Giants fan who's aiming at everybody else right now. So
well, and no one really gives a fuck about the Cowcliffs, man. Nobody.
True.
You know, there's not
even Cowboy fans don't really like. They're not even real. Like, there've been a couple, but by and large, they've been pretty quiet. I think they know.
Batista's clapback was pretty cool on the clown one. He said war paint. Was what the guy was putting on. I thought that was great.
Anyway, so
how are we gonna before we get into hot takes, hot cakes, whatever we're serving up today, how are we going to do the voting? Like we did the episode on what the categories were. Are we doing like a sidebar group chat to figure that out? You know, because we're going to need to figure that out before the barbecue.
Yeah, we could do that. I think it should be an admin thing. We should probably do it in admin chat.
Okay.
I think most of us.
Have I not won MVP yet? Because I already started writing a speech. Should I put that on ice? Should I be? No.
You should table that thought, Growman. Let's get confirmation first, buddy. He didn't even get the credit card yet, and he's shopping.
I started writing a speech.
Oh my god!
A speech is what we do, right? Isn't that no? Okay.
Yeah.
Side note: they weren't sure about. We spoke about Dylan Mercado. Should we be talking about this on here? I guess we can, right?
I don't think he's a viewer. So.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I made some inquiries on that, and without blowing it, they're having a hard time of getting a number of surgeries that he's had. We could come up with maybe his high school number that he had once his career was derailed. Maybe do it that way. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, in lieu of like the number of surgeries, I think, yeah, some sort of significant number. Maybe the year, like, do we know when he had his first one? Like, we could do
Oh, I don't know. I can find out.
Like
sure.
that might, if that's easier to find out, we could do like if it's like, a 14 or whatever, 2014, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
I'm just pulling a number, but
Yeah, I can find out.
I think whatever we come up with is going to be awesome, right? That's the best word. I was going to try to get really creative with the English vernacular there for a second, but
the important thing also is he will be there. His clique is going to make sure he comes without his knowledge of this being done for him.
You know what I mean? Like it's the thought, it's the gesture. We could put number 1 on there if we wanted to, and I think he'd be just overwhelmed. That's my guess.
Are you guys his Facebook friend at all or no?
He's a fucking funny dude.
He's a funny guy, man. Groman, you probably aren't, right?
no, I think he had suggested to me, but I don't know him well enough outside.
Sure.
No.
His what do you call those Facebook stories are hilarious. I mean, he could be a comedian of some kind. Yeah, he's a pretty funny guy. His outlook on life with what he's gone through, that's priceless, man.
So, fun fact: Ted Ginn Jr., Cleveland's own, retires today. Went home to Glendale High School and announced his retirement. Just thought I'd throw that out.
Did he ever play for? He never played for Cleveland, did he?
No, but he's from Cleveland.
Oh, okay. I know he went to Ohio State. I didn't realize he was from Cleveland.
Well, Glendale or Glenville or whatever, but it's in Cleveland.
Grandview?
Well, isn't that who Cleveland fans rooted for years because of their team was Ohio State?
Yeah.
I thought that was the correlation we were going for there.
Yeah. Well, because Ohio State probably could have won.
They were better.
They could have won 1 or 2 games this season as well.
Yeah.
In the NFL.
There you go.
And they had a rotating quarterback as well. So it was like Cleveland Browns.
I growing up when I was like real young living in Columbus, I was a big Ohio State fan, and I felt like before I really understood there was a difference between like college and NFL. But I'm honestly, for growing up in Columbus, I'm not really a big Ohio State person. I went to I went to OU, and it's kind of like the little brother syndrome. Like a lot of times when I tell people I went to OU, they say "Go Buckeyes" to me. I'm like, no.
So you have a Napoleonic complex, is what you're saying.
More or less. By the way, speaking of retirements, Frank Solich retired. Living legend, coach in the Bobcats. And I posted, I don't know if you saw it, but I posted
I did see
a video.
I mean, great win for you guys. I mean,
that's
like winning the national championship. They beat Penn State once in a lifetime. And, there you have it.
Okay, first of all, we handily beat Penn State.
Okay.
It was like we beat them by like 2 touchdowns. So it was.
Yeah.
Were you there for that game? Did you see it? See it live?
No, man. But I remember it. It's it's just one of those things that, hey, you know what? We're not going to go undefeated this season, so let's just throw these little guys about.
Oh, is that what it was?
That's what they did.
Yeah. Why haven't you played us? Why haven't you played us since? Just out of curiosity.
Why would we?
I mean, I wouldn't want to take an L again either.
Why would we? How many national championships do you guys have?
Oh,
dude, you can't even compare.
Penn State fans are like Cowboy fans, man. Yeah, let's talk about the 70s. Let's go ahead.
We are.
Okay. They should have won in '93. Number one, they won in '86 because I was there. So you want to go back to the '70s, and I think they won it. I think they won this century as well.
They haven't won in the 2000s since 2000.
They should have.
Should have. Yeah.
They've had some good teams.
Next year. The last really good Penn State team I remember was when Kajana Carter was there. And that was like what, late 90s? I'm not trying to nod, just being like real. That was like their real good team.
No, I think they were there in '93. They went undefeated that year. That was their first year in the Big Ten, and they went undefeated and still got boned out of the national championship game.
Yeah, because Kajana Carter actually went to one of the local area high schools where I grew up. I think he went to like Westerville South, which if I lived like a mile down the road would have been the high school I went to. So that's
another one of those Penn State running backs that just I'm hoping for Saquon he's not in that mix, man. But like there's some voodoo hex on Penn State running backs.
Yeah.
You know, even Larry Johnson, who had a couple decent seasons in Kansas City, right? Like a couple decent seasons. Like I think he had 4 or 5 years in the league. That's it.
And
you know, it'd be not to, and I'm not like, I know we were joking about it. I'm not trying to pile on Penn State, but you know, it'd be an interesting discussion. Which has been more disappointing in the NFL, Penn State running backs or USC quarterbacks?
Wow.
Ooh, see, that's a hot take, right? Like that's not some ESPN bullshit. That's a good conversation. We might want to do that one next week.
I mean, my knee-jerk reaction, we'll just do that real quick because we haven't really studied it.
Sanchez.
I'd say USC quarterbacks just because quarterback's the more
right
position is what I'd go with. But yeah, I mean,
Carson Palmer is the only quarterback in recent years that had any extended period of success that came out of USC that I can recall.
Carson Palmer was better than the teams he played on too.
Yeah,
he was just a good quarterback.
Yeah.
But even then, I mean, in the pantheon of quarterbacks, is Carson Palmer a top 50? I mean, what would you say, like top 100 maybe? Top 100.
Yeah, but you'd really have to look at his stats because if you go based on his wins and the teams he was on, I mean, that's going to slide him down that slope real fast, isn't it?
He might be around 50. You know, depending on what stat you want to use, right? Like if you go quarterback rating, which isn't, I think QBR is better, but they haven't used that metric for the history of the NFL because that accounts for wins and losses as well. But quarterback rating, he's probably up there.
I mean, he brought the Bengals to the precipice of being good. That's you know, no small feat.
And he wasn't bad when he went to Oakland, but he was just so injured at that point. End of his career.
So, Mike, I feel like you're going to be the guy. Who would you say most disappointing Penn State running back in the NFL?
Blair Thomas.
Because I'd say USC quarterback. I'd probably say Mark. I want to call him Sanchez. I was going to call him the Sanchez. I'm like, that's not right. Mark Sanchez is probably the most disappointing USC quarterback that I can think of.
I don't think so.
I think the dude that does the commercials for Capital One, the fuck is his name?
Yeah. He played for the Cardinals, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember his name either. I think Sanchez had some really good success coming out of USC. I mean, didn't he take the Jets to like 4 straight AFC championship games?
2 straight, I think.
2, but
yeah, but they relied on the running. I mean, they were a running team. Should get Gorky in here on this, but no, that was I mean, that would be like Baker Mayfield taking the you wouldn't say, oh well, it's because of Baker. Like he did enough not to mess up on those teams more than he led them there. Because that was like those were like his first 2 seasons, weren't they?
Yeah, but I think a part of him being the quarterback of those teams removes him from the biggest disappointment discussion.
That's fair.
So Matt Leinart, let's just go
Matt
down.
Leinart, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we talked about Carson Palmer, Matt Barkley, Mark Sanchez, Rodney Peete.
Rodney
John-
Peete wasn't too bad.
He wasn't too bad at all. John David Booty,
Wasn't Rodney Peete an Eagle at one point?
he was.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't do bad. Todd Marinovich. I mean, they've had some bad ones.
Cody Kessler was a USC guy, wasn't he?
Rob Johnson, Cody Kessler is not on this list.
Oh, okay. Where did Cody Kessler go? I could have sworn it was USC.
Was Mike Holmgren a USC quarterback? Is that accurate?
What, in 1912?
Yeah, I don't know what list you're looking at, but Cody Kessler was a USC quarterback.
They don't put him up here for some reason. Matt Castle was too.
What are you looking at, like first round quarterback?
I'm just Googling it and then I'm scrolling through the pictures.
Ah, okay.
Oh.
Not for Rodney Peete won the first round. John David Booty won the first round. Rob Johnson, did he win the court? Yes, did he? No, he didn't. He won the Super Bowl.
I mean, at best, so like Rodney Peete, not a scrub, but I mean, you weren't building your team around, right? I mean, he's
Right.
You know, like, so you got a couple.
I think Matt Leinart is pretty high on that list of
Yeah,
the
Matt
biggest
Leinart.
busts
Yeah.
coming out of there. I
He
can
was
remember
bust.
all the hype. They had commercials for this kid before the draft. he
He
was
was
just
number 11, right? Wasn't he the 11th pick the year he came out to the Cardinals?
I don't remember when, but people were big on him.
Yeah.
I didn't know much about him and was expecting him to be a big deal, and he was just a straight bust.
Straight bust.
USC. Anyway. You know, it'd be interesting to find out where the most successful quarterbacks have come from. Off the top of my head, I want to say it's like Brigham Young, but
I wouldn't even know.
of course, then again, the only quarterbacks from Brigham Young I can think of are Steve Young and Ty Detmer. So anyway. So what do we got like about 3 weeks until preseason starts?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks and a couple of days, actually. Well, the Hall of Fame game is probably 2 weeks away, right? Did we ever figure out who's in the Hall of Fame game this year? I know we
I have the power of Google at mine.
not that it ever matters, but because I don't think they had one last year with COVID.
I don't think they did.
Cowboys and Panthers, isn't it? August 5th.
Ooh,
This year it's the Cowboys and Steelers.
we're 2 weeks
Is it the
away.
Cowboys and Steelers? Oh, so we're not having a Hall of Fame game then.
Yeah, the anti Hall of Fame game. These players will never
It's like a joint scrimmage.
Oh man, the Steelers. I can't wait to watch them like finish fourth in the North this year. I'm gonna be so
Man,
excited. I'm gonna post about that every
Oh,
day.
Would
coming out
not be
from the
good
both of
times
you
in the
for that
Davis
game.
household.
There is just some salt from the both of you on that game, man. There are 11 Super Bowl trophies in that game. You got to
Yeah.
put a little respect on it. Little bit.
Now, did you see how poorly the Cowboys performed last year? They get no respect. They got to earn it.
And if you guys want, I can run the highlights of Pittsburgh's last game last year. We can splice those in.
No,
Put
we're
it
not
on the
talking
bench
about that.
crying.
today.
That's the
Mute-
one highlight you're going to run, isn't it?
Mute your microphone right now because we're not talking about that today. We decided that. And just because I'm a little OCD, it's just to go back to the question. Michigan has produced 7 Super Bowl champion quarterbacks. Notre Dame has produced 5. I don't know if that's the right barometer you want to go by, but, you know, Alabama had 4. Louisiana Tech had 4. Purdue had 4. Stanford had 4. UCLA had 3. Tennessee had 2.
I guess the better question would be what conference produces the most quarterbacks? There's so many different college conferences or leagues.
I mean, without looking at any statistics, like if we're just talking best, I'd say the Pac-10 probably produces the most college quarterbacks. Without looking at any list, just what I can think of in recent history anyway, I'd say Pac-10. Because that gives you
NFL
UCLA, that gives you Stanford, that gives you USC, even though we just said, their quarterbacks don't pan out that well. Like, if we're just talking produces actual NFL talent, I'd have to say Pac-10 without looking it up.
Not the SEC?
Not for quarterback play, no.
Mm-hmm.
We want to talk defense. We want to talk running backs. We want to talk, specifically linebackers, and defensive linemen. And yeah, SEC, but quarterbacks not like.
Not
Who's
so
the
much.
last great? Go ahead.
Can't sleep on Penn State for linebackers though. Like that's linebacker you right there. Can't sleep on them. Just saying.
Observation: Mike Loy is who you are with the Browns for Penn State. Observation. Continue.
Atticus, you should come out to State College for a football game this season, man.
I will. I have a nephew that lives in State College, actually.
It's an experience, man.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, you can come too. Even though you went to Ohio University, you went to like a mid-level school, but
He just threw that in it. You can come too. I like that.
Jay Mariotti went to Ohio University.
So I don't know if it was meant to go this way, but I know that from myself, just being transparent, the last few weeks have gotten a little bit of trash talking, right, on the podcast. And I don't know if it's because we don't have much else to talk about, but, I kind of like it.
We've had to, I was just thinking last night while we were watching the Suns game, I was like, this is kind of like the worst, like the last month before the preseason starts, kind of like the worst month for as a sports fan, because I used to be way more into baseball. Now, I couldn't even tell, have they had the All-Star game yet? I'm not even 100%. Yeah, they just had it, right?
Just had it.
Yeah, I don't follow baseball at all. I'll tune in for the playoffs, and that's about it. And, this year, I'm kind of half paying attention to the NBA Finals because, Liesel's a big Wisconsin sports fan. So, because of the Bucks, I'm kind of, paying attention. But I was thinking about, I was like, man, I hope the NBA Finals goes 7 games, because if it doesn't, if it ends Tuesday or whenever the next game is, what do I talk about the next 2 weeks? Fantasy football?
Milwaukee's overmatched, though, aren't they? I didn't even get to see the game.
They're up 3-2.
Milwaukee's up?
Yeah. They pulled it out last night.
Wow. I wouldn't have, if I can. Yesterday, my wife and I celebrated our 8-year wedding anniversary.
Congrats.
Congrats on that. Yeah.
Thank you. So we bought tickets for a cruise around New York. It's a sunset dinner cruise.
Nice.
Real nice boat. Real good food. You get to see the statue, the whole circle around the Hudson. So we get to the pier about 25 minutes before departure, and the boat had already left. It left with 30 other people wondering, where's our dinner cruise boat? The boat left using Sunday schedule instead of Saturday schedule. So this is why I didn't see the game, by the way. So we're on this pier with one representative, poor guys, dealing with 30 couples. And these are people who were there for one. There was a bridal shower party who were going on a cruise. Several couples celebrating anniversaries of different varieties, whether it's the first time they met or their wedding anniversary. And then you had a couple of them that were there for just dates, nonetheless, it wasn't a cheap experience. And the boat left, this poor guy's trying to figure it out. So we just said, listen, let's go get the car and find a restaurant somewhere in Little Italy and have a good night out in New York City. And that's what we ended up doing. But we didn't get home until almost midnight last night behind that. And that's why we didn't see that game last night. So I'm impressed that they're up 3-2. I didn't think they were. I thought they were overmatched going in against the Suns.
Well, it looked like that the first two games.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked like that in the first quarter last night. I want to say the Suns put up almost 40 points in the first quarter.
They were up 16 in the first quarter. And then the Suns – so I didn't watch the entire game, but the Suns had a they had a chance to take the lead with like 30 seconds left in the game or whatever, right? And Drew Holiday steals the ball, dribbles down, throws up an oop to the rafters. Giannis jumped out of his shoes and threw it down and won. He missed. Wow. Dude, it was insane. It was just an insane play.
Right.
And like he literally jumped out of the gym to catch the ball and throw it down.
It's the play that could define the Bucks' attitude in the playoffs. Is it that play?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It probably defines the fact that they're going to win Tuesday night.
Yeah. Where are they playing Tuesday?
Milwaukee.
Back in Milwaukee.
Oh, wow. That would be great for their fans, wouldn't it?
Bucks have been saying Bucks in 6 this entire
thing. Oh, yeah? I thought they were overmatched. I was like, oh, man.
I did too.
That's great.
So,
Mumar's a big Milwaukee fan.
Since we're talking about it, even though I already know Mike's opinion, I already know which way it's going to be. But I think it was game 3, Giannis had a block where he is he's basically guarding one guy, sees the alley-oop forming, turns around and I forget the name of the dude, but he's completely housed this dude, the guy that was going to go complete you know what I'm talking about, Lloyd? You know what play I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so this was it was either game 2 or I'm pretty sure it was game 3 of this series. That block or LeBron's block in game 7 against the Warriors in 2016, which block's better?
LeBron's block was fucking
It's LeBron's
insane,
block.
Dude. Like he ran that. He was like DJ Metcalf running that dude down, man.
It was a game 7.
There's no comparison.
And I know I'm a LeBron homer, but I would say LeBron just because, if for nothing else, because so I've heard that Giannis had a technically tougher play because he was looking one way, twisted around, blocked a guy that's 7 foot. So I mean, it's a pretty impressive block, but I think when you factor in the moment where it was, how the game played out after that, because it was late in the game, I go to LeBron's block is the that was the signature play of that series.
Let's be clear with LeBron, right? LeBron is a top 5 all-time NBA player. We could sit here and argue where he falls in that 1 to 5 range, but top 5, and that includes Kareem and other great players that we don't ever talk about, right? I just have a sour taste with the whole Miami fucking decision bullshit and him jumping teams and creating this environment where you got to get 3 guys to go to the same team. I don't like his fucking antics where he just flops all the time. Dude, you're 6'9", 280. Go own it. Just own it. Phenomenal basketball player. It's not in his nature to be to be Jordan or Kobe. It's not in his name. That's not the game he plays. He plays a Magic Johnson game, right? In my mind, in a superior athletic body. That's so that's it's not really. It's just some of the shit he's done as a professional basketball player just rubbed me the wrong way. But he's pretty fucking good. So you thought I was going to go Giannis, so I shocked you.
You did. I'm pleasantly surprised. You're turning the corner, Loy. I feel like we've been doing this for a while now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's fair to cross errors with him. I mean, he's, top 5 of the era he played in, but there's a whole list of players that, like you brought up Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, that have not been mentioned that, they played a different style of basketball. There was different rules to the game at that point. That would he be top 5 in the 80s? Probably not. He'd probably be top 10. I don't know about top 5 because the flops wouldn't work in that era.
The one thing I want to say to the flopping, because I always hear this from you. Do you think LeBron flops because that's just the player he is, or do you think he flops because of the era he plays in? Because one of the reasons USA basketball right now is having trouble on the international stage is because the players go and look for calls and they don't get called in Olympic play. And that's why the USA basketball team as a whole is like losing warm-up games to Nigeria because they're going and they're looking for calls that aren't coming. Like, do I think the flopping is great? No. Do I think LeBron does it because that's the way the game is played today? Yes, because like let's be honest, like you just said, LeBron's 6'8", whatever he is, 280. Like, he would not have a problem playing in a more physical era. Like, he wouldn't. The dude's. But
we don't know. We'll never know.
I mean, we'll never know. But I'm just saying, like, I think the flopping is more a byproduct of the era he plays in.
Well, by that argument, would Michael Jordan master the flop better than LeBron has mastered the flop? By that same standard, we don't know.
Isn't the whole argument around Jordan that he's not wired that way?
Probably.
Right.
But
I'm saying,
but if he needed to, he would master it way better than LeBron.
I mean, he was the master of the push-off. I remember that game against the Cavs. You were there, Loy, right?
Push-off.
And how many times do you see?
There's a thing called inertia, right? Like, when an object is moving this way, like, I'm not able to push off. Like, it's going to keep going that way. Or its ankles will break. One of the two. So
tell me, I don't remember. Maybe you guys can help me with this. In today's league, you'll also see players literally taking games off because they want to be healthy and in position for whatever. Did they do that?
No.
In that era? I don't remember that happening. Like, you played, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You didn't tank seasons for players.
Not just either. Jordan. Nobody ever sat a game. Nobody.
It's a different, and I'm not saying it's wrong what they're doing. I get it. I get it from a coaching perspective. You want to make sure your players are healthy. You don't want to run a risk of injury. I get the whole thing. But when you try to cross errors and compare who was great then to who's great now, when there's a whole different set of rules, there's a whole different mindset. It's a different approach to the game. Like you talked about, Jordan had that dog eat dog mentality. I'm coming at you. I'm coming after your best, right? How many times have you seen LeBron actually come after the other guy's best? A lot of times he wasn't even matched up on. Not to take anything away from LeBron, because LeBron is probably more cerebral in his gameplay as much as he is physical, because he'll know how to get a foul when he needs one. The guy walks more than anybody I've ever seen play basketball, except for James Harden, maybe. He knows what he can do and get away with. Where Jordan was just going to man to man, I'm coming at you. And I know I just keep saying Jordan and because that's the popular way to compare the two players and how great they are. But it's hard to compare players from different generations and different eras. It's not even fair.
I guess whenever I have this debate, the one part of it I just don't like is this whole sense that LeBron couldn't compete in Jordan's era because physicality. And it's like LeBron has like 100 pounds of muscle on Jordan. Like, there's no way around that fact. Like, so if Jordan could compete physically, LeBron could compete physically. He's built bigger. Like, I don't see.
Jordan had a beer cigar at halftime also.
Is
in the locker room.
Is his psyche the same way though? Right? Like, could he physically endure it? Absolutely. Right? But like, Jordan didn't start out, being as muscular as he was, right? Like, he went out and did weight training solely to beat the Detroit Pistons because they treated him like a redheaded stepchild and damn near killed him, right? Damn near killed him.
just assaulted. That was their rule. That was the Jordan rule. If he's in the paint,
That was the
put him
plan.
down.
That was
Put
the
him
plan.
down. You know, and like so he had to bulk up. You know, that was his mentality. We don't know if LeBron has that same mentality, and we'll never know. It's a futile argument, right? The fact is they're both really fucking good, right? And we do a disservice to Kobe by not gapping, you know, Jordan to Kobe to LeBron, because Kobe was
Phenomenal.
arguably just as fucking good.
Yeah.
Scored
For a long
81
time,
points in a
too.
game.
For a long time, too.
Yeah,
He had a great career. We played for 20 years.
20 years. Yeah.
I mean, coming out of the league or coming into the league at 18 helps that.
Yeah.
Oh, LeBron did too.
I know. I think that's that's impressive. Like Jordan, all of them. The fact that they're playing into their like, because how old's LeBron now? 36.
36.
Yeah, like that's crazy to me. I groan when I just have to like work out for an hour after work. Like
Until you're 50, bro.
I'm not 50. Shut up.
Wait till you're 50.
Oh, wait till I'm 50. Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, I'm only a couple years older than LeBron, and like the thought of like I work out, you know, I do Orange Theory. I don't care who knows it. I do Orange Theory, and like
What's
the thought
Orange
of doing
Theory?
so it's Orange Theory is kind of like CrossFit, except it's more cardio based. There's a lot more. So you get on treadmills and like, all right, like there's 3 levels, and they'll say like go all out, and that's where you run your fastest and uphills and all kinds of stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
It's more focused on cardio than it is on strength training.
Got you.
And so I do that 3 times a week. And by the 3rd time, I'm like, oh, thank God I'm not doing this a 4th.
Right.
But then again, I'm also not paid millions. Like I'm sure if you paid me millions of dollars a year to do Orange Theory, my outlook on it might be different. So, you know. Anyway, man, I love when we talk basketball in our football-based podcast. Just brings a smile.
We do it often.
We do it.
You know, I think that we need to reevaluate that. It's the Football Trash Talk for Real Fans page. The podcast is more fuck your team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about everything during the podcast too, though, and that's okay.
I mean, as per the opening, it's a free-flowing conversation that may touch on mature subjects. So
we did not talk about the X Games.
We did not.
I don't know it. Like I know what the X Games are. I don't know enough about them. Like I couldn't even name. Like I know Tony Hawk came back for this one. That's about all I know about the X Games.
I didn't know that.
Like now?
Yeah, like he's in the X Games that are currently going on. He came back to do one specific event.
That's impressive.
Yeah, because I need
like
to
40,
look that
isn't
up.
he?
I think he's older than 40.
Yeah, he's like 47 or something like that.
Oh.
Yeah, he's up there. Actually, you know what's pretty funny? Have you ever read Tony Hawk's Twitter?
Mike, he said 47. He's up there. Like,
well,
51,
to be
bro.
no.
like a true ass.
Where am I?
I meant to be like
3.
To be what?
He's 53.
Wow, is he?
Yeah.
That's what I mean by to be
now he's up there.
Now he's up there.
To be competing in like the basically the Olympics of your sport. That's you know, that's up
right. That is impressive.
No, have you guys ever read his Twitter? His Twitter is hilarious because it's so basically his Twitter is just basically all like conversations he has with people who recognize him but don't recognize him as Tony Hawk. So like there are ones where people are like, they'll be like, you know, because his name, I guess, on his driver's license, so like when he goes to TSA or whatever, is Anthony Hawk. And people are like, Anthony Hawk? Like Tony Hawk, right? And he's like, yeah, kind of. And they'll be like, I wonder what he's doing right now. And he's like, this.
That's funny.
Yeah. So it's just all these conversations. Like there's this one where he's talking about how he's on an airplane. He brought his boards. He's got his skateboards in the overhead bin. And someone else is trying to get their suitcase on there. And they're like, whose skateboards are these? Tony Hawk? And he's like, actually. Like, he's just sitting coach, like chilling. Wow. Yeah, his Twitter's pretty funny. I don't follow a lot on Twitter, but I follow stuff like that because I find it funny. You on Twitter, Atticus? Do you tweet?
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah, I am. I use it for business for the most part, but I jump around every now and then.
I don't really tweet.
I never tweet.
I started on Twitter just because living in Florida, I just followed like Cleveland sports writers because there's obviously not a lot of them down here. So I was just doing that, and then I follow random accounts like Tony Hawks and stuff like that, just that are funny.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all I do.
Twitter keeps telling me, we want to hear from you. Say something, or I never say anything.
Yeah, no, I think I've tweeted once. I don't even remember what it was, like 5, 6, 7 years ago. What about you, Loy? You on Twitter?
So it's funny you mentioned that, right? Like I was on Twitter last. I think I turned it off during the Democratic primaries, right? Because I got irritated that the Democratic Party basically shunned Tulsi Gabbard, who I thought was a probably a better candidate for any shot at bridging the gap between parties, right? So I posted something, and then it's weird. I turned it back on the other day, and somebody that will remain nameless responded to that post. And I just found this out. It's weird. And that person was one Atticus Davis.
Me?
Yeah.
Wow. How funny is that?
It was super funny.
So much for them remaining nameless.
I know, right? So I'm trying to figure out what you meant, though. Right? Because it says...
Help me figure it out.
I know,
I didn't
right?
even know I said anything.
So the post was Tulsi Gabbard about loving the country, this, that, the other thing. And then your response was, aren't you powerful and elite too? Why do you think that you are more trustworthy than her as a supporter of the Trump party? When she was probably talking about what's her face? Clinton.
I don't know.
Like,
there must be some context missing.
The part that confused me was you called Gabbard a Trump party supporter.
I don't know.
It was weird. I was like, it sat in the abyss of Twitter forever.
Unresponded to.
Unresponded to. Because I turned it off. I didn't even know you did that. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm
News
like,
to me too.
And I opened it. I was like, what the fuck is he even talking about here? Because it makes no sense whatsoever.
This sounds like, you guys remember, I think it was like 2 years ago, or maybe it was last year, when around Valentine's Day, for whatever reason, like a whole bunch of texts just did make it through to whoever they're getting texted to.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then like 3 months afterwards, suddenly all these texts showed up, and like, yeah, this is kind of what that sounds like, where it's just like suddenly there's this text and it's just like, what?
What's the context here?
It sounds like I was actually thinking I was texting or replying to a tweet to something else and maybe replied to that one inadvertently or something. I don't know.
I'll show it to you in August.
Yeah.
See if we can figure
this one out. Screenshot it to me. Send it to me.
Let me do that. It's going to be 2 screenshots.
Okay.
Yeah, Twitter is weird.
Twitter is clearly a young man's game.
It really is.
Well, I listen to Rogan all the time, and they talk about Twitter all the time. I'm like, let me jump back on Twitter. See what's, am I really missing something?
Hey, you know what I found in my, the catch-all drawer that we all have in our kitchens?
Yeah.
Look what I found. A bunch of FYT team stickers. I got a bunch of them. So I'll hand them out when we have the barbecue.
By the way,
who brought those?
I did.
Nice.
I appreciate the t-shirt, by the way.
The t-shirt?
Yeah, the one you're wearing.
Oh, yeah. This is an oldie but goodie. This is from probably 2 or 3 years ago.
I'm guessing established 2013. Doesn't necessarily mean the shirt was made 2013. That's fair.
What did you think it said?
I just thought the shirt would be from 2013, but that doesn't have to be. Like, I could make that this year.
Oh.
Because the group was established in 2013.
Mhm.
It's really been around that long. When would I have joined? I don't even remember.
You brought up your first post 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't remember when I actually posted it though, and I don't remember if I joined and immediately made it or if I was sitting around for a couple of years.
Right.
Because it's funny because the guy that invited me to the group has never posted as far as I know. He was my friend Robbie. He was in my first wedding. He somehow got in the group, and then he invited me to it, and then I don't even think he's in the group anymore. But yeah, he's never posted or anything. But that's how I ended up in the group.
Well, let me tell you, the group was even larger than it is until Andy started purging dormant members. So I don't even remember the number we were up to. I think we're up to like 1,900 or something now.
We were up to about 18 something when we purged probably 300 or 400.
And where are we now?
Let's find out. Yeah. Andy just said, "Fuck it, we're just gonna start whacking people."
That's his saying. He did. He just started booting jokers.
That was during the Hubbard debacle as well.
Lombardi hunting Carlos. Remember him? He was great.
Yeah.
He just kept disappearing.
Gross. We have 1,559 total members. Has he been on a head hunting recently?
Who's that? Andy. I don't know. Yeah, but he was chopping them off like 20 a clip, 30 a clip. I mean, just knocking them out. Like, who is this guy?
Gone.
Yeah.
Do you have two numbers, Atticus?
2 phone numbers?
Yeah.
For 20 years, yeah.
732 and a 570?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Which one should I use?
The 732, that's the bat phone. If you got that phone, that means you're my friend. If you got the 570,
Thanks,
you're a
Atticus.
business associate.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah. Groman, you got the 732, don't you?
Yeah, I got both of them.
He's like,
Do you?
no. He's like,
Yeah.
no. What?
Wait, there's two
What do you
numbers?
mean
What?
there's Numbers?
What? I'm gonna return that
If you would
microphone.
have said there's a 732, that would have ended well.
So because it was so popular last week, and you guys are clamming for it this week, I'm going to go ahead and do best ever again. This week, we're going to do quarterbacks. So there's one I want to ask. I want to compare to another one specifically, but I feel like if I were to mention TDs, you'd know specifically what season I was talking about. So I'm trying to think of a crafty way to work it in. But we're just going to compare it. So last week we did running backs. This week we're going to do quarterbacks. So I'm just going to give you some stats, and you're going to tell me which one you'd want for your team specifically. So let's warm up here. Let's see. Let's get a couple of these ones. All right, this will actually be an interesting comparison. So the first season, and both of these, so some of these have shorter seasons. So both of these are 16-game seasons. The first quarterback threw for 5,097 yards, 50 TDs versus 12 interceptions, 66% completion rate, and had 113.8 passer rating, and ran for 2 touchdowns as well. Versus 4,806 yards, 50 TDs versus 8 interceptions, 68.9 completion rate, 117.2 passer rating, and 2 rushing touchdowns. Which one do you got? For choice A or choice B?
How many touchdowns?
Both of them had
apiece.
50. Both of them had 50 passing and 2 rushing. Quarterback A had 12 interceptions versus quarterback B who had 8.
Isn't that Drew Brees?
I want to take quarterback B.
I want to say
Right.
B also.
So quarterback A was Patrick Mahomes in 2018. Quarterback B was Tom Brady in the famed 2007 year.
It's the year he went 18-1.
Yeah.
18-1.
What was that one again? I don't remember.
18 in New York.
Who they lose to?
When did they lose? What happened?
Hey, he had a year.
Can
They
They
someone?
had a year, man. Like,
I mean, we spoiled it.
I mean, you
We got him
did.
right up to his happy ending, and then he
Again,
went limp.
I gotta say defense because of that, man. Like, they held New England to 14 points in that Super Bowl, right? I think it was 14.
And Michael Strahan said that ahead of time before the game.
Yeah,
And Tom Brady at a press conference was like, they're only going to keep us, they're only going to hold us to 14 points? Okay. That's what he said in the press conference. And
Yeah.
guess what?
that's what
17
happened.
points. 17-14.
Unbelievable that they
You know, I
set
can't help-
offensive records that year. They had Randy Moss, for Christ's sake.
Well, you know what's interesting? I can't help but think in that Super Bowl that if they had another receiver other than Randy Moss, something different happens. Because there was just one play at the end when the Patriots had the ball and they throw it down the field to Randy Moss. And it was one of those things where if Randy Moss was like 2 steps farther, they would have had like a 50-yard completion or something like that. And the way he was running, it just kind of looked like he'd given up like 10 yards before he should have, you know? And I just can't help but feeling if they had a different receiver, that's a completion. But anyway, that's
I got
another-
one
I didn't
name
really
for you
crack
for
that.
that Super Bowl.
Go ahead. What was that? I'm sorry.
I'll give you one name for that Super Bowl. Steve Spagnuolo. He had the best defensive plan against that team that you could hope for in the Super Bowl. And it worked. And he won.
It's reminiscent of what Tampa Bay did last year.
No, Tampa Bay's was a little better.
Oh yeah, not
Those guys was everywhere, man. It was crazy.
What did because didn't New England beat New York like the final game of that regular
Yeah,
season?
that was a hell of a game too.
What the score is like 31
38-35. Something
Yeah,
like
it
that.
was up there, yeah.
It was an unbelievable game.
Where's Eli Manning on this list? Oh, he's not. Okay, anyway. Baker Mayfield's
You know
not.
what other list? There's fun fact that Eli Manning is not on. So there's a top 50 quarterbacks by quarterback rating, even though Atticus and I were talking about how it's a bad metric because it doesn't really account for wins and losses, right? QBR does, but QB rating does not. Number 1 on that list is Patrick Mahomes. Number 2 is Deshaun Watson, just to kind of throw that out there. Greatest quarterback ratings of all time. Eli is not on the top 50 list of that list. Just throwing that out there.
No.
So Eli's going to be a Hall of Famer. It's going to happen. But
Eli's going to be a Hall of Famer. He won the Super Bowl twice.
yeah, but Eli was a stat compiler more than an all-time great quarterback. He has had a long career as a starter. And it's not nothing against him. I mean, it's just there was never a time when I consider like in any given year he played did you ever consider him a top 8 quarterback?
Oh, yes, you could have. In any given year?
No,
And
we've
even
been
years
down. We've had this argument before, bro.
His 2011, 2012 seasons were pretty damn good. 2012, we were like, 14-2, and the Eagles kicked us out of the playoffs in the first round. He was pretty damn good and had a lot of weapons. But
He had good stats, but he was not a top 10 quarterback that season. If you go by quarterback ratings, right? Or you go by
Okay.
QBR. Like, he had a good year. We've had this discussion. Now, if you go by total yards, yeah, top 10. If you go by total number of completions, yep, top 10. Right? Even if you went by touchdowns, there was probably a few years that absolutely top 10. But like when you got to go by like, I don't know, that's just me. Stats are weird that way. You can turn them into whatever you want them to look like.
he had some good years where you thought, oh my God, what are we going to do to stop this this team? But they never had a line, not consistently. Anyway,
ready for
what's your
another-
next quarterback that you want to?
Yeah, I was gonna say. All All right, let's go ahead and do this. So quarterback, we'll do it this way. Quarterback A, 5,477 yards. Again, these are both 16-game seasons. 5,477 yards, 55 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 68.3% completion rate, 115.1 passer rating, and another rushing TD for good measure. Versus 4,944 yards, 38 TDs, again, 7 interceptions, 69.9% completion rate, just a hair short of 70, 117.1 passer rating, and another rushing touchdown for good measure.
I'm going B.
B?
I like that almost 70% completion percentage with the low turnovers.
That's the stat I like too. I'll go with B.
So, just for shits and grins, I just want to say Loy chose 2016 Matt Ryan over his boy 2013 Peyton Manning. Both lost to the Super Bowl champs that year.
Not sure why Peyton Manning's my boy, but you know.
After last week, he's your boy.
Okay.
I've never seen a more. The only thing I've ever seen you defend more.
You said he was
passionately
overrated, bro. You
than
said
Peyton
he
Manning.
was
The only thing
overrated.
the only thing I've ever seen you defend more passionately than Peyton Manning is Michael Jordan. So,
Or Penn State.
or Penn State football.
Well, I can't defend the Eagles in most cases, so you know.
At least he's honest.
Gotta defend
Fair.
somebody.
All right, we'll do one more. This will be an interesting one. Okay, so quarterback A only played in 13 games, so keep that in mind. So it's 13 games versus 16 games. Quarterback A was 3,521 yards, 26 TDs against 8 interceptions, a 70.2 completion rate, 112.4 passer rating, and 3 rushing TDs. Versus, now again, that was 13 games. Quarterback B had 16 games, 3,969 yards, 35 TDs against 10 interceptions, a 70.3 completion rate, 112.8 passer rating, and 7 rushing TDs.
I like them both.
That sounds like Michael Vick.
I think I'm going to go with B again, though.
B again?
I'm going to go with A just because I wasn't really paying attention.
So quarterback A was 1989 Joe Montana.
Good choice.
Quarterback B was 1994 Steve Young.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't realize he rushed for that
Steve
many.
Young was pretty damn good, man. I loved his spirit, too. Oh, man. What a competitor. Yo, he was one of those quarterbacks who had fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he gave it his all, and he had fun doing it.
Which one?
Interestingly enough, Michael
Steve
Vick's
Young.
not listed at
Yeah,
all.
he looked like he had more fun than Joe Montana.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Montana was just cerebral.
He was serious out there. Joe was trying to dissect you while Steve Young was having a good time, putting up points, gaining yards. He was fun. Fun to watch, too. Wasn't he a lefty also, Steve Young?
Steve Young's a lefty, yep.
Yeah. He was fun to watch.
You know what? We're gonna do one more. And one of these guys was a Super Bowl MVP. So
Okay.
we'll go there. So quarterback A, let me make sure both these guys played 16 games real quick. Yeah, both these guys played 16 games. So quarterback A, 5,084 yards, 48 TDs against 17 interceptions, 64.2% completion rate, and a 108.9 passer rating. This specific quarterback was the MVP and AP Offensive Player of the Year for this specific year that I just gave you. The other player, quarterback B, is 4,353 yards, 41 TDs against 13 interceptions, 65.1% completion rates, 109.2 passer rating, and a rush TD for good measure. He was the Super Bowl MVP that year and the MVP as well. A versus
You
B.
can go with either one. I'm gonna go B again.
B.
Both of you took B. So quarterback A, who you both turned down, was the 1984 Dan Marino. Lost to San Francisco in Super Bowl 20 or 19. There we go. I can still do my Roman numerals. Thank you, second grade. And the quarterback you chose was 1999 Kurt Warner, greatest show on turf.
Yeah,
I guess technically, they didn't call themselves that, the greatest show on turf, till the next year.
they made it look so easy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You know, it's crazy to think that this was 20 years ago and the Rams are no longer in St. Louis.
Yeah. How about it?
Yeah.
Oh,
When Kurt Warner was at his best, you ever notice how there was this huge surge of new Rams fans? All of a sudden, they were burning their old jerseys. Huh?
and where did they come from?
I
It was
know.
like, what the? I mean, when you talk, hey, does Matt Hazan have some Rams gear in his fucking
He
club?
probably does.
You know,
He
I mean, he had-
probably does.
that's a legitimate question.
He had to pull for someone before Brady got in the league, so might as well have been Kurt Warner.
Legitimate question.
I mean, since Eric Dickerson, like the Rams were one of those teams that you didn't really think a lot about. They didn't have a really big fan base. Then came, who was it? I can't even think of their receivers' names. They had some good receivers.
Torrey
over there,
Holt.
too. Torrey
Isaac
Holt, that's
Bruce.
the one I was
Isaac
thinking.
Bruce.
Isaac Bruce.
He had
Marshall
Marshall
Falk.
Yeah. He was one of the
And
running
Kurt
backs.
Warner. Kurt Warner, in his story, he was bagging groceries and then became a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Unbelievable.
He never won the Super Bowl. Oh, duh, he just did. Ha. Sorry, I was thinking of the Cardinals. My bad. Sorry.
He came close. If it wasn't for that was an impressive Super Bowl too. The Cardinals and the Steelers. Oh my God.
That was an impressive run because they played Philly in the championship game, and like all of Pennsylvania was hoping for a Philly-Pittsburgh Super Bowl, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, and he just tore them up in the fourth quarter.
So one last little conversation I want to have. We kind of touched on it with the Rams relocating. If you were to take a current NFL team now out of their market and expand them to another market that you think is more deserving or whatever, are there any teams you'd relocate right now? Or if there's no teams you'd relocate, is there a area of the country you think needs a team or is deserving of a team?
Deserving?
That doesn't currently have one, yeah.
That has a fan base that would get behind a team if they were there.
And I want to put the caveat that the NFL would find attractive. Like I don't think the NFL is really looking to put a team in like Idaho per se, as much as you want to argue Boise might be able to support a team. Is there anywhere you can think of? Just I saw this argument going on some page or another, and I found it kind of interesting.
I don't know.
I would move the Chargers back to San Diego. That's just me. Right? But San Diego's not going to get behind them. But the problem is LA doesn't really support two NFL teams either.
Yeah, LA's a basketball town.
You know?
Whatever. I mean, granted, the Lakers have had tons of success, but yeah, LA's a basketball town.
And I think just to get their stigma removed, I think Jacksonville needs to move. I just don't know where to.
Go.
Santa Fe? I don't know. Go to New Mexico?
But is that attractive for the league?
No, probably. I don't know, Alabama, somewhere where they have they have a strong college presence, but not NFL.
I would say I would say take the Jaguars and move them to Mexico City. Has always been my play.
Ooh,
Where's Mexico City?
in Mexico?
You're talking about in Mexico?
Yeah,
I don't think that would happen.
Why
They're
not?
talking about putting a team in England.
They talked about putting the Jaguars in England. I feel like.
Yeah, you think that could happen? Hey.
I think Mexico City,
From a financial standpoint, it makes a lot of sense.
They support American football.
Yeah. Well, listen, and their stadium is huge out there. It's for soccer, and they hold more fans, don't they?
Like 100,000.
105,000. Yeah, it would be like a college football stadium.
Well, the NBA's done it with Toronto, the Raptors. I guess there could be some intercontinental or international teams. I don't know.
Do you think Toronto could handle a football team?
They can't.
Well, they have their own league.
CFL team.
Yeah, I get it.
I mean, where do they? The only other place I would say is Alabama. I'd agree with Alabama just because every time one of these, like, the XFL or whatever that other league, the AFL or whatever it was that started up last year,
Birmingham.
Whenever they throw one of those leagues together, like Birmingham always gets a team. Or they put a team in Orlando. Actually, both times they've done.
It's too hot in Orlando. Ugh. I would take that game off every year. If I was on a rotating schedule and had to go down there, it's too disgustingly hot.
We're not any worse than Miami.
Yeah, but Miami's closer to the water, aren't they? Don't they get a better breeze over there?
I mean, pick a direction. Pick a direction, drive for an hour. You drive into the ocean when you live in it. Orlando. There's nowhere in Florida that's far from a beach.
Right.
You'd be real pressed to be farther than an hour and a half away from Orlando.
They don't need a team in Orlando.
You got SeaWorld.
We hardly support the Magic. I think baseball makes more sense. We have actually a really
support Shamu. You're good.
I want sports. We have Tampa Bay actually pulls really well in Orlando when they play up here.
You're sinking lower and lower in this screen that I'm seeing here, Chris. Your head's almost disappearing.
Not having any abs. I just kind of.
Yeah, you were going lower and lower.
What do you say, gentlemen? We're about an hour and 10 minutes right now.
We're probably good.
Probably good.
So we need to start that chat about the award since Groman was polishing up his speech.
Yeah. I mean, I was thanking people. I can dock people I was going to thank out of it now that I know the real. I mean, I thought the way it was left with me, I started writing a speech instantly. I'm like, oh, well, I better show some grace, but that's all gone now.
Well, Mike glossed you up pretty good, so.
Thanks, Mike.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so we should start that in the admin chat. Mike, didn't you put the list together and send it already?
It's already in the chat. We have like 15 chats going on, first off. So we need to rectify that situation. But we have an FYT Barbecue Awards chat.
That's the one it should be in.
It's in that.
Wait, there's 15 chats? I'm only in like
I see it.
I'm feeling left out, guys.
Well, once you get the MVP award, you'll be invited to the other 13.
Okay.
All right.
So should I take that as an ominous sign when I'm only in 3 of them?
You're in more than 3. There's 1, 2. There's you, me, and Atticus. There's like 2
that's
others.
For the pod. That's not admin. That's for the pod. Right. I mean, you know what, any admin that listens to this, you want in on that chat? Come be a regular on the pod. We have room.
Come be a regular on the pod.
I concur.
Yeah.
And Gorky, you got an hour. Don't act like you're too busy for this. An hour every Sunday morning, Gorky.
He's too cool for school, man.
Yeah, come on now. Jordan, what are you doing right now?
I don't know what's going on with this kid, but I think he's been struggling with that for some time. So I'm going to give Gorky a pass.
Rosie, what's Rosie doing right now? He has time to go
back from Greece.
Traveling.
Yeah, she's going to Greece. She's got time to do a podcast. I want to go to Greece. Every time I see pictures of someone else in Greece, I'm like, I need to go to Greece. I feel like if I saw pictures of Lloyd in Greece, that might persuade me not to go to Greece.
Of course.
Quick question, gentlemen. We didn't do like ballots. We just threw out names, right?
Right.
For the different people who we felt should win whatever awards. So are we just going to throw out your choice of a name for MVP, for not the MVP? Or honestly, if I'm being real honest right now, I'm feeling like what we said should go, to be honest with you, because I just think it's going to turn into some people are going to answer, some people are not going to answer, and this shit's going to drag on a little longer than it needs to.
So when you say it should just be what we say, you're saying admin, right?
I'm saying what we already talked about.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
When we decided that Chris would be a good MVP under normal circumstances, but this year we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
He was fixing his collar and shit at first. No, but I'm just saying, because I just think that in the interest of keeping it simple and keeping it moving, I think that what we came up with, and we had some good people. I mean, Chris should win MVP, right? Between you and Chris, I think Chris is a good option. And the fact that he was who we were talking about last year and couldn't do it is kind of like a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer. It's a given.
Not the MVP award, Golden Dildo, hands down, is Matthew Hazan.
Yes.
I can't even think of like another person to put like in the running.
Right. Salty award was
Chad
Walsh, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember who newcomer was. Newcomer award.
We didn't come up with one. We gotta run down a list for that.
Okay, so what we can do, the ones we've decided, let those be what they are.
Yeah.
The ones we haven't, put them in chat.
Yeah.
We need suggestions for who should win. So from what I'm looking at, newcomer award, most active, we can figure that one out. We don't need the group to vote on that, right? We can just look at the stats, right? Well, it doesn't factor in the admins though, because the stats won't reflect admin participation. So I guess we can ask that.
I think the other ones we had were biggest ghost, best clapback or sniper award, Black Widow award, whatever we want to call it.
Yep.
That one was between, I think we kind of came down to
Clapback was Andy, wasn't it?
JD and Andy were the two I remember talking
JD
about.
and Andy. She was the Black Widow. She won that before.
Who?
Okay. Jordan Scott.
She's been a little quiet this year. So
yeah, she won it before. That's why her name was mentioned.
Yeah.
But I think we said Andy was the one.
Yeah.
For that one. Cool Hand Luke. Ghost Award. Bibber, probably. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially since she just resurfaced. She absolutely should get the Ghost Award.
Bandwagon, Crack Pipe.
I mean, how many awards are we giving Hazan?
Host with the most. What's host with the most?
Yo, we as many as we can. We should.
That's you, Mike, isn't it? Host with the most?
No.
Whoa.
What's host with the most?
How'd that even make the list?
I don't know.
Take that down.
So we're removing host with the most.
No, that was your wife's suggestion.
Oh. Yeah, but where does it even fit?
I think
it just fits, man. Like a lifetime achievement award, man. Like a grandfather clause, something.
Okay.
So yeah.
Accent on the grandfather. We're underlining and starring that.
Yo. Atticus and I are the same age, bro. You need to settle that shit down, yo.
Fall back, bro. Fall back. All right.
I did play golf twice last week, though, and thought I couldn't walk for like a day.
I'm going to put this out. So finish your speech, Chris. I think you're safe. Okay.
I'm pretty
I
sure
think
I
if
was
we
the cool
did
hand
do a
award
host with
this
the
year.
most, I mean, because we're not going to have people getting more than one award, right?
No, I think
mean-
we should give Hazan as many as we can.
Well, he kind of really, the bandwagon one.
Bandwagon, crack pipe, the not the MVP, just load them up, man.
Like 3 golden dildos. We're just adding dildos to give him. Like, could we just give him like 4 different colored dildos? Could we just do that? He could win the golden, the purple, the pink, and the aqua dildo award. The pewter.
Well,
dildo.
I wanted to mention this to you guys before, but that's probably not a good idea because he's a member of a community that he's not comfortable putting out there. So we don't want to be too suggestive. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. So, and when we were talking about the "You Are Not the MVP" award, golden dildo, I thought to myself that might hit the wrong way. You know, so I don't know what we want to do with that. If we want to leave it like that or what.
I think we should. I think
You
that
like
one
that?
is fine.
Okay, all right. It is because he
That's
had
got
a lot
group
of fun
history.
with Darnold, what was it? Dylan Darnold or whatever the fuck it was too. All right, but no rainbow dildos, Chris. I know how much you wanted to see that, but I don't think that's a good idea.
That's fair.
Okay.
Next
All right, so I'll put
Next
this.
year we'll get the rainbow dildo going.
Yeah. Or the golden dildo with a rainbow cape.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Mm.
That's that type of stuff gets you an early nominee for MVP next year. That's how you do it.
Oh shit. All right, so
Next year you guys are coming to Orlando, right? That's how we're doing that.
is it Orlando or Key West? I don't really care, to be honest with you.
I mean, not that I'm partial, but Orlando is going to be a lot easier to get to than Key West,
Yeah.
and there's a lot more hotels
Me?
here.
I don't care. I'll put it out there right now.
I mean, I think that before we even think about a hotel, where can we get the best VRBO? Right? Like, there's no reason that we should have 15 different hotel rooms, and when most of us can rent a house together, it's going to save.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
going to save money, and it's probably more fun that way.
Yeah. I like that.
As long as we can fly the Browns Super Bowl championship flag outside of it.
If they win, I'll support that. If they win, I will support that.
If they win what?
The Super Bowl.
Yeah, okay. You mean a preseason
No,
game?
if they win the Super Bowl,
Hey,
I'll support that,
the
Chris.
Browns
If
have
they
one of the
don't,
best.
you have to eat toe jam.
Ew, what?
That's disturbing, bro.
Why
Where
why
did you
is it
even come up with that one?
I don't
How
know.
about it could be just we don't fly the flag outside? Why is it going to be? Anyway, well, I think we're going to wrap it up here because now we added about 12 minutes of us rambling incoherently about awards, dildos. So come join our page, everybody. Partake in the mayhem.
Okay. I'm cool with it.
Okay, anything else, Loy?
Nothing.
Nothing.
You know, we got to come out with a signature sign off, or we just let it fade to black, man. We're good.
And that's what I do. I got to say goodbye all the time and then cue the music. In fact, I'm going to cue the music right here. That's where it's going to kick in.
Just cue the music.
Cue the music.
And,
It's good music.
and then we're done.